Aaron Brown has served on Summerville Town Council for almost 16 years, and this November, he's asking residents of District 1 to give him another chance. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with Aaron one-on-one. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. Well, Councilman Brown, it is so good to see you.
So good to see you, Quintin.
I appreciate this.
Yeah.
Well, let me start off with the obvious before I get to the election. And this is the headline from abcnewsflow.com from September 28th. It reads this: Summerville Town Council to review findings of Arbor Oaks flooding study. Tell me, what do you want to find in that study?
Arbor Oaks is on the other side of town. It's not in my district.
Sure.
I'm the representative of District 1,
Right.
but I know the council member who's dealing with that issue. Apparently, when Arbor Oaks was built many years ago, it was the drainage system was improper. It was not built correct. I think they have some flooding problems over there.
Wow. Well, let me turn to your election.
Sure.
Because you said this in the Somerville Journal scene, that is, because this is your fourth term as a councilman. And I know that, quote, you have unfinished business, unquote. Tell me, what business do you want to finish?
Well, we have a number of issues on the drawing board. One is that one of the major problems we've got in Somerville is traffic because of the tremendous growth we've had in the last 10, 12 years.
Right.
And I've witnessed that growth. The town's population has almost doubled in the last 20 years. So we're the 7th largest city in the state. We've got tremendous traffic. We've got people moving into Somerville every day because we are attractive. We have low taxes, we have low crime, we have a great quality of life, we have great parks, great recreation.
And sweet tea.
And sweet tea. And so everybody wants to live in Somerville.
Yeah.
So we've got a tremendous amount of traffic. And so we're trying to deal with the infrastructure problems. If you think about Somerville, we're working on 2 major roadways to alleviate traffic. One is the Berlin-Mice Parkway that was partially completed some years ago, but it's never been completed. We need to complete that. On the lower end of the town and on the top of the town, the northern side, we're starting to work on the Maple Street extension.
Right.
To extend that road all the way to the new interchange, which is interchange 197. So those 2 major arteries will give a lot of relief to the traffic that's coming through the middle of the town now. So if someone is coming from the western part of the town, say from Knightsville, and they're trying to go to the interstate, they got to hit Main Street, pile up there, and then fight their way to the interstate, exit 199. So we're building a new exchange 2 miles up, interchange, and that's going to give something. Also, it's very important too, it gives another route out of town in the event of a natural disaster like a hurricane. Other than that, we're also studying some other things. Years ago, when I was a boy, there was a train that people could ride from Latson to Somerville to shop. And we've been talking with the Council of Governments, Charleston, Berkeley, Dorchester Council of Governments,
Right.
about starting a train trolley again from, say, North Charleston to Somerville, which would take a lot of traffic off of I-95. We're looking at that, and we've got a group of people who's working on that diligently. Also, we need some mass transit. We need to look at that. I don't know why is it Americans are so individualized. You know, we go down the interstate in a 9-passenger SUV and one person is driving it. We need to look at incentivizing people to use mass transit more. So we're looking at a number of issues. And bicycle lanes, we are also building bicycle lanes because that relieves traffic.
Okay.
It's amazing how much bicycles take traffic off of the main road with 4-wheelers. So we're looking at a number of issues dealing with the major problem that Somerville is traffic congestion.
And another issue you're trying to do is revamp the old National Armory.
Yeah, the National Guard Armory is another issue, which is my baby, that's in my district. We started working on that about 9 years ago, and we're at the point right now of letting a contract, we should let a contract this month to a contractor, a design build contractor, to finally get that going. We're hoping to finish that by 2018.
And when I read the Summerville Journal scene article, it says this: Brown said that the black community needs to be represented and said he would like to broaden the Alston Heritage Foundation and turn it into, quote, something the black community can be proud of. Talk to me more about that.
Well, we do need a cultural entity associated with African American history in Somerville.
Okay.
The old Alston High School was the black high school, and then we also had an Alston Elementary School.
Right.
When integration came, those two schools, the elementary school was gone entirely, and the high school was turned into a middle school, which is now Alston Middle School. So recently I got the Alston High School built, the Alston Elementary School rebuilt. It's now called Alston Bailey Elementary. We completed that a couple of years ago, and that's the new high school. That's the first major project in my district in probably 60 years. The Alston Heritage Foundation came out of the old black high school where the graduates would come back and have an annual dinner around Christmas time, and they would come from different states, and they would come and bring money and spend money in the town, accommodations, tax, hospitality tax, that sort of thing. So I'd like to morph that into a cultural entity where the focus is not only on the Alston Heritage Foundation, but it would allow for black history entirely, where we can incorporate a number of things. And so hopefully I can get council to support that. I think there's enough empathy and sympathy on council to support that.
And if you take it to the other side, your opponent Lewis Smith says that he's looking, quote, at gentrification in Brownsville, and that residents, quote, haven't been informed to make decisions that will affect their lives. What is your definition of gentrification in the Somerville area?
Well, Mr. Lewis Smith is entirely wrong on that, first of all. His facts are not correct. You do have people moving into Somerville,
Okay.
but many of those people are black. Just to give you an example, when I first took over the district, it was considered a minority-majority district. It was about 52% black it was supposed to be. And then it got down to 51%, then like 49%. And so we said, wow, you know, maybe so many people are moving in that we're diluting the black vote. Then we looked at it again, and there were almost as many blacks moving into Somerville as there were whites.
Okay.
So blacks are coming back too, because blacks have their heritage in Somerville in the South, and they own that Jim Crow's limping, not entirely dead, but Jim Crow's limping. Many blacks are moving back also. So gentrification is a buzzword where one racial group is being displaced by another racial group. It's been used in Charleston, it's been used in Atlanta, it's been used in a number of places. I don't believe we really have that in Somerville. What we have in Somerville is blacks are doing very well compared to many other areas, maybe even North Charleston or other areas in the state. And now they're able to leave the LMI areas, which is lower moderate income areas,
Right.
and move up to the higher middle class income areas and buying better homes and more affluent neighborhoods. So, and maybe that's misplaced as gentrification, but that's not. That's what I call progress. The rising tide lifts all boats. When you have a community like Somerville that's, that has a great zip code for middle class wealth, many blacks are participating in that too. You take areas like Ashburn, East Gadsden, Kings Grant,
Right.
and all these affluent areas, you've got lots of blacks living in there. And many of them moved from the lower and moderate income areas to a better area. So the word gentrification is a buzzword, and it occurs in some areas, but I don't think it's that prevalent in Somerville. What we're doing in Somerville is we're lifting African Americans up. We're not telling African Americans that they're downtrodden. We're saying, look, we're making opportunities for you. Let me give you an example. If you go to our website, there's something I had installed about 9 years ago with approval of the council called Minority Business Listing.
Okay.
If you're a minority business in Somerville, you can go on the website and you can list yourself and your business and what you do. And when we have a bid for a qualified service that you provide, we include you automatically to try to help African American businesses grow. So we're about lifting up African Americans. We feel, and I feel personally, and you can broadcast this all over the United States of America, I feel that we make more progress as African Americans when we look forward as opposed to looking back.
And let me go back to Mr. And I know what you said this to the Somerville Journal scene as well, but you said this: you would like to see the new ball field that Dorchester District 2 is building be restored for community use. What is your definition of community use?
Those ball fields were founded years ago during segregation by a black man named Sam Green, with the help of some other blacks, but he's the guy who founded it. It was very successful. They joined the league, they were certified, and eventually they had white and black ball players.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, one of our council members played on that ball field, Bill McIntosh. He's an attorney. And when we built the new school, the Alsterdale Elementary School, back on that location,
Right.
we had to sacrifice the ball fields and move them over to Gehagen. And for about 2 years, 3 years actually. And now that the ball fields are being built back much better than they were, at the tune of $1.3 million. Tremendous, beautiful site. And we're putting together now some of the older black men who founded that thing as a board of directors, and we've got some younger men who are still running it. They're still got the ball fields going out at Gehagen. So that's what we talk about, restoring it back to the community that first ran it. It'll still be in control of the African American community. But we won't play segregated ball anymore because segregation is gone. We will invite all kids to play ball, and the command and the ones in charge may be African American, but they'll play kids of any race or creed. That's what they did before.
And I know too that one of your big topics right now, and you mentioned this earlier, is infrastructure. You said this on Facebook. District 1 needs more sidewalk for safety residents and school children that are forced to walk in the road. I will build more sidewalks via the CDBG funds. When you hear that people are forced to walk in the road, where are you emotionally?
Where am I emotionally? I think we can do better than that. I think we are, in the next 30 days or so, we should be laying new sidewalks in Brownsville on 2nd Street. We did them on 1st Street. Now we're doing 2nd Street. We did it on Wassanasaw Road.
Okay.
And eventually we hope to have enough sidewalks so that all these kids that are meandering toward Alston Middle School and Alston Bailey Elementary School will have sidewalks to walk on. Now, it is also the policy of the town council that whenever new developments are built in Somerville, we require the developer to put in sidewalks. So that helps a lot too. Unfortunately, there are not many new developments being built in my district, particularly in the Brownsville area, which is one of the old pockets of black enclave in the area. So, which is the area around Alston Middle School. And so, but we're doing what we can. I'm the guy who got the community development block grant money coming to Somerville.
Okay.
I saw the need when I first got on council about 12 years ago. And with the help of the town administrator, we got the first allocation, and then it's now an annual allocation. We get approximately $250,000 a year to use in the LMI areas, low, moderate income areas. So we're making progress.
And you talk about our results. Let me go to your Facebook cover photo. It says this: as our councilman, Aaron Brown is a proven leader with a record of results. So what are the other results in your mind?
I've had many results. I am an Energizer bunny. I am driven. There's always something to do. One of the first things that I did when I decided to run for council in 2001, the community was not cohesive. Community was, the people weren't together. So I says, what we need is a civic association. They didn't have one. I said, we formed a civic association. We could come together once a month and discuss issues and then move forward to be a part of the solution in our town as opposed to thinking that we're part of the problem. So I told them I formed a civic association. I'll show you how to do it, but I won't run it. So we formed this civic association. And that has been our greatest success in that area, in my district. We have something called a District 1 Civic Association that covers my entire district. And all of the various communities of subdivision, we come together. We've been a force. And the police chief, the mayor, everybody will tell you that the strongest civic association in Somerville is District 1. As a matter of fact, this Thursday night, October 5th,
Right.
there's been some negative information put out by my opponent that we're destroying the black community with the Maple Street improvements. That is not so. Again, the rising tide lifts all boats. The road will benefit whites, blacks, and anybody else in Somerville. Not only that, the people's property, they're being compensated for their property. Many of them are going to be in a better position than they are now once the property is bought by the highway department. So we have a meeting Thursday night with the Civic Association. We're going to have an attorney come in to talk to them for free and talk to them. It's called a legal briefing. Right. So each one of these individuals will understand that they're not alone, that their Civic Association is providing some information for them, where they'll be able to get in touch with an attorney. They don't have to hire this attorney. This attorney is going to give them some basic ideas of, do you need to take the first offer? Can you negotiate the price? Can you ask for more money for your property to make sure that they're made whole? So that's what the Civic Association does. And that's what I'm proud of. We help people. Okay, we've initiated so many things. It's unbelievable in that community. We've got people really involved in their community. When I first got on council, there was very few blacks serving on boards and commissions that served the town, citizens groups. Now, virtually every citizens group has got a black face on it. Some of them have got two.
And let me go back to the Maple Street expansion debacle, because what you said on Facebook is this, quote, "This will be a win-win for all," unquote. So when do you want to win?
We're winning right now. We will win once the road improves. The road will boost the neighborhood. A lot of the neighborhood will go from residential to business, which will increase the value of their properties. Again, a rising tide lifts all boats. And many of the people who will move, whose properties will be taken or impacted by the property, they will be well paid for their property. The same thing that happened when the bridge came here in Charleston from Mount Pleasant. Right. Those people were basically living in an area that was low income. They got enough money to move west of the Ashford to some better areas. The same thing is going to happen here. So the glass is not half empty, the glass is half full. And what I always tell my people is, let's look forward, let's don't look back. When it's not them and us, we're a part of Somerville. What benefits Somerville benefits us too as African Americans.
And obviously you've been on town council for 12 years.
Almost 16.
16. But who is Aaron Brown? Who is Aaron Brown? Beyond the politics, take off your political hat and tell me who is
Well,
you.
I graduated from Von Wilson High School with a degree and got a degree in music under Lonnie Hamilton to South Carolina State University. I had a full ride in music at the South Carolina State College.
Yes.
And I had an academic scholarship too. But anyway, I started playing with the Columbia Symphony bass violin when I was a junior at South Carolina State. Wow. And then when I graduated, started teaching music in the Low Country. I was teaching at Alston. I played with the Charleston Symphony Orchestra, and then finally Savannah Symphony. Yeah. But anyway, I got out of music and went into business, and I was one of the first developers on the east side of the city of Charleston. I developed a property at the corner of Columbus and Nassau Street, 76 Nassau, 20 apartment units. And you know, I'm a business-minded person. I've been involved in a number of businesses, and I'm married to Frida Esau, and we've got 8 grandkids. Wow. Yeah. So, but I was always invested in the community. I think you've got to be a part of what's going on. To sit back and complain doesn't do you very good. If you want to roll your sleeves up and get involved, then that's what you need to do.
Well, Aaron Brown, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Thank you, sir.
Anytime.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.